Hey y'all, Noons here. Welcome back to Noons Airborne RC. If it's your first time here, smash that like and subscribe button so you can get notified for future content. And if you're a longtime viewer and subscriber, welcome back. Well, everybody, I know everybody's seen tons and tons and tons of videos on the FAA and the NPRM. Well, this one's my video. It's not here to scare anybody, stir any stuff. I don't need any brand jockeys commenting on this. This is basically the truth, black and white, and it's coming up soon next month, and it's going to affect us all. So first, let's roll that intro.
Get some!
Welcome back, y'all. Like I said in the intro, this isn't to piss anybody off. This isn't to scare anybody. This is just pretty much their verbiage, black and white. I read it for what it is. When this NPRM first came out, my wife's an attorney. I had her look at this stuff, and she went ahead and read it from an attorney's point of view. And an attorney pretty much reads what's in their face, does not put any emotions in it or anything. I've heard lots of rumors of people, oh, well, they wouldn't do this, they wouldn't do that. Don't sit there and think you know what other people are inclined to do, because you're not them. I'm not them. I'm just basically reading what says on the NPRM and what's starting on September 16th, 2023. So let's get to it. First of all, I'm pretty sure a lot of you know, but what is remote ID? Well, basically, remote ID is some device that's attached into the UAS that goes ahead and puts out flight information such as location, altitude, speed, pilot's location, a bunch of other things. This was went ahead and voted in by the FAA and has become law. Why do we need remote ID? Me personally, I don't see why, but I can see where they're coming from. You got to understand technology and evolution first. We had a horse and a carriage. Automobile came out, overtook it. No longer need a horse and carriage. That's one analogy right there. Another analogy is you had brick and mortar storefronts, and then the internet came out, and malls died. It's just a thing of evolution. We've had our hobby. It's a great hobby. We've had it for so long. Well, evolution and technology brought this out, and everything. I'm not here to get in the whole hobbyist and planes and drones thing. That's already been hashed out. So bottom line, if it takes off and goes in the air, regardless if it's a drone, if it's an RC plane, if it's a glider, if it's a helicopter, if it's a quadcopter, if it's a gyrocopter, if it's a parachute plane thing that hobby came out, it needs remote ID. You are now considered a UAS, regardless of what your heart or what you want to tell yourself. In the eyes of the government, it's a UAS, and there's no changing that. It is what it is. Now, the final rule came down and was handed, I believe it was in 2019 with the NPRM. And basically, there's 3 ways to go ahead and become compliant. Now, when I'm talking about compliancy, I'm talking about what we have to do versus what manufacturers have to do. So first of all, let's go ahead and bring up our first little cue card on which was effective dates. Now, the effective dates on this, on September 16th, 2022. I got my little notes here so I don't speak out of pocket. Drone manufacturers must comply with all final rules and requirements for them. Let me say that again. September 16th, 2022, next month. Drone manufacturers must comply with the final rules requirement for them. That means it doesn't matter if you're Horizon Hobby, Tower Hobbies, Motion RC, Carf models. If you are selling a UAS, it must conform to their rules by September 16th. Now, I know a lot of people saw a bunch of videos on XJet. Who doesn't love the XJet? Not really putting the fear factor out there, but he did touch on something that all these planes will go ahead and wash up. We'll get to that in a little bit. Now, September 16th, 2023, all drone pilots must meet the operating requirements of Part 89. For the most operators, this will mean flying a standard remote ID drone. They like to use the word drone, but that means plane, everything, guys, all right? Equipped with a broadcast module or flying in the FRIA. Now, a lot of you guys heard about the FRIAs and what about the FRIAs and all that stuff. Well, there will be more literature put on September 16th, 2022 for the application process. So that's going to be coming up soon. And from what I understand is you have that 1 year to go ahead and put in for a FRIA. Now, on the original ruling was once you got that FRIA, for any reason, if that FRIA wasn't renewed or if it was late for renewed, that area could not be a FRIA again. Now, on the final ruling, there was some changes done. That change right there where they first gave us 3 months to register, it's now a year. If that area fell out of FRIA status because they didn't renew it or whatever, it can still become a FRIA. Now, with that being said, the key points to take away is September 16th, 2022, next month, all manufacturers have to comply with the law. That means if they sell a plane, it will have remote ID. Secondly, September 16th, 2023, all operators must comply with remote ID or be flying it with the FRIA. Now, how are we going to go ahead and get this thing for remote ID? Well, like I said, there is 3 ways, and we'll go ahead and drop in another graphics right now. Now, you have standard remote ID drones. You'll have drones with remote ID broadcast modules or flying in a FRIA. Now, we'll go ahead and take a look at all these right here. Now, standard drone with remote ID, it's going to come built with it. Now, all drones, you can have your feelings. You can say that businesses wouldn't do this and all that stuff. Nah, it's black and white. No interpretation needed. It says it right here, everybody. So your drone's going to go ahead and come with the it already applied. It will have the drone ID, the drone location and altitude, drone velocity, the control station, a time mark, and emergency status. Okay. The second way to comply, which a lot of modelers would do, because if you have a lot of free wing and E-flight planes and a whole bunch of stuff that we've been accumulating over the years, this is a majority of the way if you're not flying a FRIA to become a compliant. It's with the broadcast module right there. And as you can see, I'll pull up both of them right here. You can see that it doesn't matter if it's the plane or the drone. For some reason, the transmitter's talking with the drone, the transmitter's talking with the plane, is also talking to your phone, it's also talking to something Wi-Fi. So you're going to need all that working for you to be compliant with the new rule of Part 89. There's really no difference. It's still talking out there, right? The other part right here is you're flying in a FRIA. And as you can see, it's a geographical confined area that the FAA knows about. And anybody that's flying in there, it could be a park. It could be flying site, a flying field like the majority of everybody's going to fly. It could be at a school for educational purposes. But that area will be known as a FRIA. Who can put in for a FRIA? CBO, an educational institution, usually a president of a club or something of that nature. But there are those 3 ways, and all that we just talked about, you will have to do as personal pilot, as you yourself, by September 16, 2023. Now, next month, if they want to sell a plane, it doesn't matter what manufacturer is going to be out there. They have to have some broadcasting module in there or it cannot be sold. Now that leaves a whole bunch of gray open areas where a bunch of people's feelings and everything get hurt. They bring up those emotions. They're like, well, I can't buy an ARF. Well, if that means if I can't buy an ARF, this company's going out of business, and they wouldn't do that. It's not up to them. It's up to the FAA, right? So just keep that in the back of your mind. Next month, we're going to see a lot of things. If there's no broadcast module, as per the law, Part 89, they will not be able to be sold. Will they have to come with some kind of broadcast module or something? Yes. Now, as far as the DJI drones, they kind of got their own little remote ID. They can go ahead and become compliant, I believe, with the software update, and that's that. As far as the RC planes, we're going to have to take care of that on ourselves if we have an older plane to put a broadcast module or fly in a FRIA. But as for a bind and fly plane or a PNP plane, I don't think that's going to go ahead and go. There must be remote ID. Now, in the beginning, I went ahead and I talked about brown jockeys. Now, everybody knows I have E-flight, I have Free Wing, I have Carf Jets models, I have almost everything that's been out there and is sold. So I'm not brand specific. I got Spectrum transmitters, Futaba transmitters, Radio Master, Fry Sky. I got it all. And this is nothing to go ahead and jab anybody. But if y'all have been filing the NPRM, now this is my own personal take on it. When people say, "Oh, they wouldn't be going out of business and doing that to themselves," no, it's a power move. On this, you have stakeholders. Now, what is a stakeholder, right? That's a person involved in a decision that has a stake in the game. Now, I don't know if y'all knew this, but Horizon Hobbies was a stakeholder in this. I'm not calling them out. But if they're a stakeholder and they were putting in their decisions of this, of course, they're not going to make a decision to put themselves out of business, right? They're going to go ahead and make decisions that will help them corner the market. And if you look at their smart stuff, it already almost does that. And they've been redoing all their transmitters. And honestly, their new receivers that could be coming out could have it built in. They could already have this planned as of last year or a year and a half, and they'll be ready to move, where the other people might not be. So as far as the stores shelves being sold out, I don't think. I think you're going to have people in the forefront that are going to be capitalizing on this thing. So don't be scared on that. But that's my video. That's to get the gist to y'all. I just want to give you guys a heads up that this is coming down. Next month, September 16th, 2022, all manufacturers will have to comply. Now, I don't know if the manufacturers or the AMA are going to try and put an injunction for an extension at that. Everybody's pretty hush-hush. But as by the letter of the law, as the NPRM Part 89, that will start September 16, 2022. So you guys stay vigilant out there. This was voted into law, and we're going to have to go ahead and comply. I don't like it. I'm sure a lot of you don't like it, but this is what it is, y'all. So hopefully y'all got a good word out of this, and hopefully it doesn't get that bad. Noon's out.
Get some!